As you see it there, Emiliano Vargas also obtained a victory, this time by UD. Ricardo Rubalcaba got a TKO over Molina. Richard Torres Jr., Chris, heavyweight action. Another first round KO, still looking good, still looking untouchable, still fighting guys he should beat, I must add. But hey, he's still young. He's still young. They're building him up. Alan Garcia, as we mentioned, TKO in the second against Gonzalo Fuensalida. Kid Kansas, still looking good. And it seems like they have something lined up, possibly in May. I'm hearing San Diego, Chris. Those are the rumors.
Hey, there we go, man. So some good fights again. Richard Torres, man. That's baby Tommy Morrison, bro. That's that small little heavyweight with some big punch. You know, obviously we want to see him go up in competition and level, but I mean he's good for the sport. I like him.
Yeah, and then of course, congrats to Alan Garcia, still undefeated, still looking good. 12-0, 10 KOs, 21 years old still. He has already 2 fights this month. He fought in February, fought in March, and it looks like he'll be fighting again in May. So looking good. First official fight with Top Rank. And what a card! What a card to be on, Chris. Stacked. Let's go ahead and check out who else is on there, Chris. Raymond Muratalla, of course, against Solisani Dongeni. Now this 20-0 now, Raymond Muratalla. Some people were disappointed, Chris, in this performance. It went to the decision. Hey, to me, look, he's just trying to bait him in, Chris. He's trying to bait him in. He was looking too indestructible. He looked human for once, and didn't get the knockout. And you know, now you're hearing the names of Shakur and these top guys at 135. So hey, he's just reeling them in, Chris, baiting them in.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably not his cleanest performance, but you know he got the W. He's got a tough guy in front of him. Obviously, we know that this fighter was in there with Arnold Barbosa. Also, it was a messy fight. Also, you know Arnold didn't look exceptionally well in that fight, and that's what you get from those crafty veterans. Not to excuse these guys, but yeah, again, some of these fighters can make it messy. You know, we seen Barroso make it messy for some guys. It's those kinds of fights, man. And again, you know, it's not to take away from the Barbosas or you know the Muratallas. You know, you get some of those guys, but yeah, I thought it was very interesting, Gio. You just mentioned that in the social media realm, you know, we saw some videos out there where Shakur Stevenson is now calling out Raymond Muratalla, and hey, we'll see if that happens. We'll see if it becomes you know sooner rather than later. But yeah, finally Raymond is getting noticed.
Yeah, Big Bro says Raymond was underwhelming. Maybe somebody elite gets in there with him next. Now, shout out to Boxing Kangaroo. We will get into. Obviously, we had some Aussies fighting this weekend. We will get into that. Um, Pachuco checking in live. He was asking if we were doing the interview live. Yes, we were. But going back to Raymond, Chris, I did see a video today posted by Eli Sekback. You know, you got to give him his credit. He was at the RGBA, FaceTiming with Shakur, and Shakur got on there and said, "Hey, I would love to fight." Ellie put Pita and Robert Garcia on the phone. Shakur said, "Let's bet the winner 100K." Pita says, "Hey man, we want to fight. I don't bet on my fights." And then Robert says, "You're crazy. I don't make that much money. You're a millionaire." He's like, "I don't got 100K like that." So, but they were kind of just joking around, and yeah, both sides were saying, "Hey, you know, you're a great fighter. He's a great fighter. Let's get it on." So, I don't know if that happens immediately. I think they're gonna take their time with Raymond. And Shakur's fighting in Newark against I don't know who, Chris. So he's in no hurry to get back in there with a tough opponent.
Yeah, no, yeah, again, shout out to Ellie Sackback for having those connections, reaching out, connecting those guys. That's all entertainment right there. But yeah, it's I agree. I don't think you know, Robert Garcia and I don't think they're gonna be in any rush to get Raymond in with somebody like Shakur Stevenson. Again, it's a fight that's probably gonna happen down the line. You know, again, Shakur is one of the best boxers in the world, ultra skilled, great defensive, not the most entertaining, but you know a tough assignment for anybody. So again, like when the time is right, hopefully that fight gets in. I wouldn't be surprised if Raymond pushes that and forces that fight. Tough fight. Again, like we said, Shakur is one of the you know hardest fighters to hit. Again, he's defensively sound, doesn't make mistakes, not the most entertaining, but he does what he needs to do to get the W. So again, entertaining. I liked it. I like that video today.
And Shakur said, hey, the fight was never presented to me. I know there were some words there, and Robert and Pita kind of saying, yeah, they told us it was, but we don't know if it was. So they're basically, Shakur was saying, yeah, and I didn't even know Raymond was ranked that high. He's like, but now he seems a little interested looking at Raymond's ranking. He's 20-0 now, 16 KOs, I believe. So we'll see, man. They're both top ranked. I think you know how it goes, Chris. This is a business. They're gonna try to milk it as much as they can, but yeah, as I said, Shakur's fighting I don't know who in Newark, New Jersey. That's coming up in a couple months. Raymond just fought, got another W. So we'll see where that ends. I don't see it happening immediately. Maybe end of next year, if that. But yeah, I think once Raymond, as Raymond continues to win and starts getting bigger and bigger names, those fights at some point are just going to have to happen. I mean, you can't continue to beat around the bush, Chris. These guys are gonna have to fight each other, and we'll get into the other guys at 135, 140 because we also had some action around those weight classes. But let's keep the show moving here. That was Raymond Muratalla. We spoke on Alan Garcia, El General Vargas as well. Yeah, go ahead, Chris. We got to keep the show moving, Chris. We don't have much time.
I was just gonna say, I thought it was funny that he said that he's never heard of Raymond. Again, you got one of the loudest guys on social media that's on social media 24/7. Talking about a guy that does just goes to fight, does his thing, does not live on social media. Period. So you're not gonna hear about him unless he's fighting. And so I thought that was funny. I thought it was a funny, little point that I saw there.
All right, so we'll keep it moving. Lindolfo Delgado also, he looked good. He got a KO win against Carlos Sanchez. I'm liking Lindolfo. What is he, 20-0 now? 15 KOs. He's 29 years old, so he'll step up in competition soon, I'm sure. And then, of course, the fight that we spoke on, Seniesa Estrada, Yocasta Valle, 97, 93, all three judges, and Siniesa becomes the minimum weight undisputed women's champion. Now, Oscar Valdez, Liam Wilson, Chris. I'll pull up the graphic of our predictions. I did write those up, made it into a graphic so you guys can see. But talk to me about this fight. As you said, you almost forgot that there was an actual main event in this card. What do you think about Valdez? I believe your prediction was a Wilson victory. I thought Wilson had a good chance of winning, but Valdez pulled it off. I don't agree with the stoppage, but give me your thoughts as you were there live in the arena.
No, so once again, Oscar Valdez shows why, even though he doesn't have, that perfect record, he does what's right. He does what the Mexican people love, which is bring action, which is fight, those kinds of challenges. Again, Liam Wilson, big dude. I picked him to upset Oscar, but as you saw, Oscar just had too much dog in him, too much fight, too much warrior, just that will to win, never say die, attitude. And again, it was a great fight. Man, again, just reminds me why this fight, was the main event. Again, yeah, just overall great performance from Oscar Valdez. We talked about how he's had two losses in the last 3-4 fights, and this was a crossroads fight for him. And again, one big fight away from just getting back in the good graces of the Mexican people.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a great performance, Chris. I think he got the stoppage. As I said, I disagree with the stoppage. Leon Wilson was literally throwing a left hook as the referee intervened. So I didn't understand it. But look, hometown fighter, you're fighting against a foreign guy. They're never going to get a fair shake. I thought Wilson was coming on strong. I liked what he was doing. I think little by little he was hurting Valdez. Valdez even said it after, too, that some of those shots hurt him. I think he took a couple shots to the ribs that hurt him. But Hey, Valdez got the victory. People were happy. He's probably gonna get one last big payday. We know. Venado was there in attendance, so that's an all-out Mexican war. I'm sure. I think Valdez is better off fighting those guys who are a little smaller because he struggles against the bigger guys. And I would have loved to see, the fight continue and see what Wilson can do. Wilson, of course, you guys remember almost stopped Navarrete. Um, I thought he had a good chance of hurting Valdez in this fight, but my opinion, I just think it was stopped a little too quick. But hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? But yeah, we'll see what happens with Valdez. Obviously, no one's gonna ask for the Navarrete rematch. Um, who's Oshaki Foster's a champion at 130. Venado's a champion at 126, trying to come up to 130. So there's some interesting fights for Oscar Valdez.
Yeah, I think at this point of Oscar's career, like again, he's done so much. Like when we remember, the broken jaw, that was years and years ago. So he's been fighting nothing but good names, and he's been giving fight fans nothing but great fights. So I think somebody like a Venado, those kinds of fights where his legacy gets enhanced, gets remembered for those kinds of fights. I think that's the route he should take, and again try to maximize on those big names, big opponents, and call it a career. I think he's already done so much, and there's not much left. There's not much left for him to do. I know he still wants other divisions and stuff, but like you said, Gio, it's a tough ask to fight bigger guys.
Yeah, as Big Bros was saying, Wilson was pushing Valdez back, and his punches were hurting Valdez more before getting hurt himself. Yeah, and look, that's why we were so hesitant, to flat out just say, "Hey, Valdez is gonna win," because uh, Wilson is dangerous, man. Wilson is dangerous, and you guys saw it. He was coming forward at all times. It looked like he was taking Valdez's power better than Valdez was taking his. So yeah, I was not content at all with that stoppage. But hey, who cares, right? The crowd was happy. The hometown kid won. So yeah, not too many people will argue about that. I would like to see Wilson again. Maybe he has one last chance at a title or at one of the junior titles or whatnot. But yeah, I would have loved to see this fight continue and see if Valdez really could have pulled it off. I mean, you saw by his reaction, he was crying, he couldn't believe it. They were so happy. Um, and Valdez, I think 33 years old now, so he needed this. He's gonna get one last big payday. But I don't think he had a great performance. ESPN made it seem like he did. I think you said he had a great performance. I strongly disagree, but uh, yeah, I guess we just saw different fights.
I think when I say great performance, Gio, I'm talking about the crowd and everything else. But again, he says everything right in these interviews. He connects with the fans, and again, like it's like getting just another idea, and you know another few fights in his career to make big money fights.